In this episode, we're going to talk about a concert that I went to in '67 or 1968 that had two incredible bands. The headliner was the Cream, but the opening act was the Mothers of Invention. So yeah, this is my first Frank Zappa and Mothers of Invention story. There'll be another one, but if you're ready to hear this one, let's drop the needle. The little town that I grew up in only had two places where you could buy albums, and the selection was pretty limited. But I went down every week or so just to see what was new. Well, this one week I went down and I found this album called Freakout by the Mothers of Invention. Had no idea who they were, knew nothing about the band, but it looked interesting. So what the heck? I got it, took it to my friend's house. He had a small bedroom with a pretty cheap stereo in it, and we went there and put the album on. Our minds were blown. We looked at the album cover. It was weird, and it was a double album, which was kind of unique for a band that nobody knew. The song titles were unlike anything we'd seen before. Hungry Freak's Daddy. Who are the Brain Police? You're probably wondering why I'm here. The Return of the Son of the Monster Magnet. Face it, they were weird. And the music that we heard coming out of that cheap stereo, like I said, blew us away. Particularly one song, Help I'm a Rock. What was that? We listened to it about 5 times in a row, over and over, until my friend's mom came in and said, "Turn that noise off." Here are some of the lyrics. Help I'm a rock. Help I'm a rock. Ha ha. Ha ha, ha ha, ha ha, ha ha, ha. Calanthol, calanthol. Pedigo, pedico. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Leo, help I'm a rock. Somebody, help I'm a rock. Wow, man, it's a drag being a rock. I wish I was anything but a rock. Heck, I'd even like to be a policeman. Help I'm a cop. Help I'm a cop. It's a drag being a cop. I think I'd rather be the mayor. Not your typical June moon lovey-dovey type lyrics, right? And the song goes on for 8.5 minutes. Who are these mothers anyway? A standout song is Trouble Comin' Every Day, which in my opinion is the first ever rap song. In fact, when I was in college, I had to get up in a speech class and give a speech, so I decided to quote these lyrics, and I got an A. And after all these years, I still remember them. Let's see if I can do this. Well, I'm about to get sick from watching my TV. Been checking out the news until my eyeballs fail to see. I mean to say that every day is just another rotten mess. And when it's going to change, my friends, is anybody's guess. So I'm watching and I'm waiting, hoping for the best. Even think I'll go to praying every time I hear him saying, "There's no way to delay the trouble coming every day." So yeah, Freakout was mind-blowing, but it wasn't a commercial success. It peaked at 130 on Billboard's charts. But Frank and the Mothers had debuted. And as Frank Zappa was quoted as saying many times, the present-day composer refuses to die. Freakout was followed by their second album, Absolutely Free, which contains the classic songs Call Any Vegetable, which came out about the same time that Brian Wilson was writing his song about vegetables. They're very different songs. Son of Susie Cream Cheese, and Uncle Bernie's Farm, and this was before Frank even knew who I was. More on that in a future episode. And then for their third album, the Mothers released the famous Sgt. Pepper parody album, We're Only in It for the Money. The cover and the artwork are the most notorious, but the songs are pretty amazing, particularly Are You Hung Up?, Concentration Moon, Harry, You're a Beast, What's the Ugliest Part of Your Body, and of course, Take Your Clothes Off When You Dance. Ah yes, great Frank Zappa songs. And this album peaked at number 30 on the charts, making it the best-selling Frank Zappa and Mother of Invention's album to date. Okay, so here's my first Frank Zappa story. There was a concert where they were playing as the opening act to the Cream, and it was held in a high school gymnasium. So everybody that was in my rock and roll band, we all decided to go. And we got there, And the mothers came out to play on stage, and they started, and it was loud, and the sound was horrible. And Frank was just up there wailing away on his guitar, but most of the vocals were incomprehensible. You couldn't really hear what they were singing. And he just played on, and they were just tearing the place apart. But like I said, the sound was not good. Well, all of a sudden, in the middle of one of the songs, Frank stops playing, throws his arms out like this and screams, "Stop!" And the whole band stopped playing. And Frank went over and picked up a folding chair and put the folding chair down in the center of the stage and sat on it and pulled out a newspaper and started reading the newspaper. One of the other mothers took off his shirt, got an ironing board, and started ironing the shirt. Another one of them got a vacuum cleaner and started vacuuming the floor. Well, the audience didn't know what to think, and they just kept doing this. Frank just kept sitting there reading the newspaper. The vacuuming kept going on. The ironing kept going on. And first, the audience kind of laughed and did a little applause because they thought, oh, this is some sort of weird performance art. But Frank just ignored them, continued to read the newspaper. The ironing went on. The vacuuming went on for probably 10, 15 minutes. Well, the laughter and the applause started turning into boos. And all of a sudden, the audience was really getting angry with what was going on. And when the boos got very loud, Frank stood up. And he stood up and he walked to the microphone and he goes, "Kind of brings the animosity out in you, doesn't it? Music was not meant to be played in a frigging gymnasium." And with that, he walked off the stage. Well, we all sat there and went, what was that? And then the Cream came on. The Cream, Eric Clapton, Ginger Baker, and Jack Bruce. A real power trio. Their first album was called Fresh Cream. The standouts are I Feel Free, Rollin' and Tumblin', I'm So Glad, and of course Toad, where Ginger gets his extended drum solo. Their second album, Disraeli Gears, had also been released. Strange Brew, Tales of Brave Ulysses, and of course the breakout hit, Sunshine of Your Love. The album peaked at #1 by the end of the year. And it was followed by Wheels of Fire. Now, I'm not sure this album was released by the time of the concert, but they certainly played songs that are on the album, like White Room, Born Under a Bad Sign, Crossroads, and Spoonful. The acoustics in the gym didn't seem to bother the Cream. They were there to rock. They were loud. Yeah, some of the vocals got lost, but they didn't care. After the third album, the Cream went on to release one more real album, Goodbye Cream, with notably the song Badge, written by Clapton and his good friend George Harrison. It was a pretty memorable evening. The Cream blew us away with their power and their musicianship. Frank and the Mothers blew us away with their disgust at playing in a gymnasium. You know, it's interesting, over the years, with the Mothers and by himself, Frank Zappa has released 114 albums. One of them became quite infamous and is actually the basis of how I got to speak with him. And we'll talk about that in an upcoming episode. Please check out my companion YouTube channel, The World Is My Location, and How to Think Like a Cinematographer. Hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Keep a rockin'. Most of the albums that I talk about can be found at your local vinyl store or on eBay. Individual songs most likely are on Spotify, Apple Music, or Amazon Music, or even some on YouTube.